My parents told me that if I don't take my bratty little sister on my birthday girls trip, the whole thing has to be canceled. 3 years ago, my dad married my stepmom, and with her came my 12-year-old stepsister. Let's call her Leah. And listen, I know 12-year-olds can be a lot, and I mean, I'm not saying I was the greatest 12-year-old, but Leah is out of control. If she doesn't get her way, it is a full-blown temper tantrum. Literally like she's a toddler. If she asks for something in the store and she's told no, she will lay down in the middle of the aisle and scream and kick and cry until her mom gives in, because her mom always gives in. If the attention is not on her for 5 seconds, she can't handle it. One time during her brother's piano recital, she pretended to fall out of her chair and get hurt. Like, we saw her throw herself out of the chair. Like, it was clear it was fake. But he had to stop playing, everybody tended to her, and she was smiling the whole time. Oh, and don't even get me started on birthdays. For every gift that the birthday person opens, she has to open one as well. And when it's time to blow out the candles on the cake, she has to have her own cake that she blows out the candles on. And of course, she has to be invited everywhere. Even if she doesn't want to go, she wants an invitation. And if she finds out, let's say her mom went to the grocery store without inviting her, absolute meltdown. For my birthday this year, I decided that I wanted just me and my 3 closest friends to have a little weekend getaway where we all just went, we got an Airbnb at the beach and just hung out. And as my gift, my parents actually subsidized the trip to make it less expensive for all of us. It was so kind of them, and I really appreciated it. They told me on my birthday that that's what I was going to be doing, and of course, Leah immediately asked if she could go. I kind of laughed and tried to play it off and told her that she wouldn't want to hang out with a group of girls in their mid-20s. Like, that wouldn't be fun for her. But she just kept saying, no, I want to go. Like, I want to go to the beach too. And I'm waiting for my dad or her mom to say something, but they just sit silently. Honestly, I think she's just going to forget about it. She's a kid. Like, she wants to go right now, but the trip wasn't for another month. So I thought, if I don't say anything about it, and she's not going to want to go in a month, she's going to have other things on her mind. But I was wrong. For a few weeks, it seemed like Leah actually forgot about the trip. Me and my friends were super excited and started planning. Again, my parents subsidized it. They didn't pay for the whole thing. So all of us actually put our own money into going on this trip, and we were hyped. And I thought I was in the clear with Leah until about a week before, when somehow she was reminded that she had to go on this trip of a lifetime. And once she remembered this trip, she was not going to forget it. It was constant temper tantrums. She was crying to me all day, every day, asking if she could go. And I kept saying no. At first, I was really nice about it. But eventually, I was like, you're not going on my trip. You have to learn what no means, which she didn't take well. And neither did my stepmom. She came yelling at me, telling me that I can't parent her child. But like, somebody has to parent her child. A few days before I'm supposed to leave for the trip, my dad and my stepmom sit me down and tell me that I have to take Leah on the birthday trip because she just won't let it go. I'm sorry, I have to take her? I'm not a babysitter. I'm not going to babysit her on my birthday trip. I mean, she's 12 years old. We're all in our mid-20s. It just logistically isn't going to work. All of the things we have planned are not suitable for a 12-year-old. So I say no. I say there's absolutely no way. I'm sorry that you don't know how to tell your daughter no, but this is my birthday trip with my friends, and it would make absolutely no sense to bring her. It also wouldn't be fair because my friends are paying to go on this trip. They're not going to be paying to babysit my bratty little stepsister. That's when they tell me that if I don't bring Leah, they are not going to subsidize the birthday trip anymore. I completely lost it. I break down crying. Mostly because my friends have already relied on my parents subsidizing the trip when planning their own finances. This isn't just affecting me. This is affecting my best friends. And I think that's absolutely not fair. I tell my parents this. I say that they can't just offer it, have people rely on that money, and then take it away. It'd be one thing if they realized that they couldn't afford to subsidize it, but to make it a condition of bringing Leah along is not fair at all, and it's not right. But they put their foot down. They said that that's how it's going to be. Now, my friends and I have already made non-refundable reservations, so we're definitely going on the trip. And I have 2 options. Do I bring Leah along, or do I dip into my savings and cover the subsidy that my parents are now not willing to pay? I really don't have the savings for the subsidy, but I do not want my birthday trip to be a babysitting gig. And even more than that, Leah is the worst kid to babysit. The entire trip would just be trying to give her everything she wanted to avoid her public temper tantrums. Happy birthday to me. Am I right? Okay, put your helmets on because this update is a wild ride. When all this was going down, I honestly had no idea what I was going to do or how I was going to supplement the funds for the rest of the trip. But I have the most amazing friends ever. And when I told them the situation, every single one was just like, we'll just pay more to go. Like, do not worry about this, Kels. They have all met my stepsister and my stepmom, so they completely understand the situation, and none of them wanted Leah there, let me tell you. So I went to my dad and stepmom and said, thank you so much for your conditional birthday gift, but I no longer want it. I told them that me and my friends were going to be paying for the entire trip ourselves, and that way Leah does not have to go. And this is not what my stepmom wanted. She started flipping out, yelling at me, telling me that this is terrible, I'm a terrible big sister. And my dad is just sitting there, just blinking, not saying anything, just like, ah! She said, Kels, we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. But what was she even talking about? Which I later learned what she was talking about. But in the moment, I was like, what do you mean? Okay. Kind of cryptic, kind of dramatic. And I was like, we're just not going to do this anyway. And I ended up just leaving in the middle of the conversation because the woman, let me tell you, I know where my stepsister gets it from for sure. So the day comes that me and my friends are leaving for my birthday trip. We drive the 3 hours, get to the Airbnb, and it is perfect. We're having the best time hanging out. Some of my friends actually drove in from different cities, so I hadn't seen them in a little bit, so we were just catching up, having the best time. Until I got a knock on the door. And everyone who was invited was already there, so I was like, maybe it's the Airbnb owner. It wasn't the Airbnb owner. When I open the door, I see my stepmom and my little stepsister standing out there. Leah has 2 different bags. We're there for the weekend. You're 12. Like, why do you need 2 bags? And my stepmom goes, guess we had to do this the hard way. Have a good weekend, baby. Like, saying bye to my stepsister. I'm like, I'm speechless. And I'm trying to stop. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like yelling at my stepmom. My stepmom's walking back to the car. I'm like, excuse me, like what? I'm sorry, what? No. And she's like, bye, have a good weekend. Like, not even acknowledging me. I'm like chasing her out. Like, excuse me, this is not happening. She gets in the car, drives off. Literally does not even acknowledge me. And at this point, I am truly speechless at the audacity of this woman. It is absolutely insane. I am paying more. My friends are all paying more. So this situation wouldn't happen. And she didn't care at all. She just cared because Leah was throwing a temper tantrum and she doesn't know how to parent her daughter. She doesn't know how to tell her daughter no. So I bring Leah inside. All of my friends' faces drop as soon as they see her because they're so confused. And Leah immediately starts screaming and running around and taking people's stuff out of their rooms that we've already like assigned and saying like, this is my room now, like throwing everything. And we're all just standing there watching this, mouths hanging open, not even knowing what to do. And that's when my best friend looks at me and she says, I'm calling my mother. Now, for context, me and my best friend have known each other since childhood, and her mom was the assistant principal at our middle school. And I don't know if you guys had a assistant principal like this, but it was like you would much rather get sent to the principal's office than the assistant principal's office because she was scary. Now, as an adult, I absolutely love her. We're so close and she's done so much for me. But when I was 12 years old, let me tell you, I was not a fan. She is strict, doesn't take any nonsense from anybody, and my friend, she was parented very oppositely to Leah. And this woman was the absolute hero of our trip because within 3 hours of my best friend calling her mom, she was at the Airbnb ready to be the babysitter for the weekend. She said we weren't even gonna know Leah was there. And honestly, we didn't. If we were downstairs hanging out, she would have Leah upstairs. And anytime we would hear Leah starting to have a temper tantrum, I don't know. Somehow this woman fixed it. She was parenting. She was parenting Leah in a way that Leah had never been parented before. And honestly, it worked. Leah was way better behaved than she'd ever been. But within 24 hours, Leah was ready to go home because she was over the fact that we weren't hanging out with her. We were going out and doing our own thing. And she was stuck at the Airbnb with my best friend's mom. So she called my stepmom on her phone, obviously. You know, she has the newest iPhone. That's like not even a surprise to anybody. And my stepmom showed up at the Airbnb unannounced to pick Leah up. And she was not happy. She starts yelling at me how terrible I am and the fact that I didn't bring Leah around with me everywhere. And I told her, I was like, listen, we had plans and Leah couldn't do those things because she's 12 and we're all in our mid-20s. And my stepmom's like, you should have rearranged your plans. Like, there's so many great movies out that Leah could have gone and seen and you guys could have gone to the movies and done that. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm not a babysitter. It is so kind. Like, you should be thanking my friend's mom for coming and babysitting because there would have been no one to watch her if she didn't show up. And I'm not proud of this, but as she was yelling at me on the porch, just yelling, I just closed the door in her face. And she started just yelling louder. And I was like, bye, just walked away and just went back to my friends. I was like, you can just keep yelling on this porch, but I cannot listen to your yapping anymore, ma'am. Goodbye. I'll see you after the trip. And I mean, call me naive, but I kind of thought that she'd be over it by the time I got back. My stepmom's a dramatic woman. You know, she gets mad about everything and then she's over it the next day like it never happened. So I just thought by the time I got back, whatever. Bygones would be bygones. We could move on from this experience. But my stepmom, nope, she was not ready to move on from this experience. When I walked back into the house after the weekend, you know, ready to chill, ready to, you know, unpack my things, my stepmom and my dad are in the living room sitting, not looking happy. My stepmom has her arms dramatically crossed. I just knew it wasn't going to be good. And my dad says, Kels, we need you to come sit down. And I proceed to sit there as my stepmom berates me for over an hour about how terrible what I did was and how I made Leah feel like she wasn't wanted there because I just passed her off to a babysitter. I was like, she wasn't wanted there. On my birthday trip with all of my friends, she wasn't wanted there. I'm sorry she felt that way, but that is reality. But to top it all off, my stepmom passes me a printed off piece of paper that has all of the expenses that she had for her trip to and from the Airbnb, from the gas money to all of the snacks that she bought on the trip. And let me tell you, she bought Leah a lot of snacks. I started laughing so hard. There were literal tears in my eyes. I was like, you cannot be serious. Like, you cannot tell me that you actually expect me to pay for your gas, for you to come and try and ruin my birthday trip. No. And I look at my dad. I was like, Dad, can you please? And he was like, you know what, Kels, I'm really disappointed in you. And I was like, you know what? I'm disappointed in you because you were never like this. You would have never done this before you were married to your new wife. And now you're treating me like I'm in the wrong when I'm clearly being treated unfairly. So now we're basically in a standoff, and my stepmom, my dad said that they refuse to talk to me until I apologize to my stepmom, Leah, and I pay her back the money I owe her. So I don't really know what to do.
I'm leaving my boyfriend after he drunkenly confessed something to me last night. My boyfriend and I, both 29, have been together for 2 years now. Before that, we were both married and got cheated on by our spouses. We were introduced to each other through mutual friends and thought we would get along since we have been going through the same thing. I've told everyone that us meeting that night was the greatest blessing because he came into my life in a very dark point. In the past 2 years, we've moved to a new town, started new jobs, and bought a house. I travel for work and he works 90 hours a week, so we both have no desire to have kids. I have a brother, 31 male, who's been with a woman since 2020. They were supposed to get married, but called it off in 2022. Since then, they've been on and off together and really don't have a great relationship. That was until November when his girlfriend found out she was pregnant and they decided to get serious. They bought a house and they've been going to couples therapy. Their relationship seems to be working out now since they've had their baby. They decided to host a 4th of July party at their house. I attended with my boyfriend. I spent most of the night helping with cooking and helping my brother's girlfriend set up and watching my niece. Like every 4th of July party, there's people who get way too drunk and start acting up. Once mostly everyone had left, my boyfriend, me, my brother, and his girlfriend, as well as a couple friends, were sitting by the fire and having a few drinks. My boyfriend had a few too many and was starting to act drunk. He started telling random stories, and after a few random stories, he says, my brother's girlfriend's name. Remember when we used to hook up last year? Ooh. 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 My brother's girlfriend looks at him in shock and then starts apologizing. Bitch, don't apologize now because you're only apologizing that you got caught, not that you actually fucking did it. Like, you guys have been together for 2 years. For 2 years. They hooked up last year. Bitch, don't apologize because you're caught. Nah, hell nah. I just sat there in silence before leaving immediately after. I got texts from his girlfriend, my boyfriend, and brother. Your brother knew too? All trying to fix things, saying he didn't mean to tell me. That doesn't make it better. He didn't mean to tell you. Calm down. No shit, he didn't fucking mean to tell me. My boyfriend, my brother, and my niece's mother all know that the niece's mom and my boyfriend hooked up last year while we were in a relationship. Of course not. Of course he didn't mean to fucking tell me. Fuck all of you guys, girl. The way my first thought would have been to get a new number, absolutely not. His girlfriend texts me the story and says they hooked up for a couple of months while I was working in another state and she was broken up with my brother. Bitch, that'll make it better. I haven't replied to anybody's messages. I just spent the morning packing all of my stuff from the house and leaving with my car and the truck that I bought for him. I already feel so much happier knowing what he did to me and now that he's gone. I'm almost positive that the fact that her brother knew and didn't tell her has got to be what hurts the most. Even if that hurt hasn't sunk in yet, that's going to be the part that's like the jab that takes it all. Because you really thought I didn't need to know that my boyfriend, who I was in a relationship with, cheated on me while I was out of state working with the mother of your child. Okay, girl. All right, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go wherever we're going. Before we get there, we're gonna stop. We're gonna get the biggest tub of ice cream that we can and 4 or 5 cases of our favorite, adult beverage. And you're gonna sit and you're gonna drink and you're gonna cry. Cry it out. Because it's gonna set in and it's gonna hurt like hell. Feel it. Feel every single bit of the pain. Feel it. Cry it out. Cry until you have no more tears left. And then get up and don't cry for that reason anymore. Never cry for that reason again. Go on vacation, start your life over by yourself and learn to love yourself again because, babe, I want to cry for you because I am so hurt for you. This is terrible. Take a second to reset. You deserve it. Random thought. OP said that her and her now ex met because their mutual friends decided to introduce them because they both had been cheated on by their spouses when they were married. I feel like the ex was the spouse that cheated. That's just me making assumptions. May not be any weight to what I'm saying, but I feel like he was the one that cheated in his marriage.
My parents missed my wedding to go to my little brother's football game, and now they're blaming me for not reminding them. My little brother is the golden child, not because he has done anything to earn it, just because, honestly, I think it's because he's a total mama's boy. Like, a weird amount mama's boy. My mom is now like one of those internet memes of no girl will ever be good enough for my son, like weird boy mom. And I'm just kind of the black sheep of the family. Nobody really cares what I'm up to, and that's how it's always been. My dad has been a little bit better about not showing clear favoritism, but he's too much of a coward to stand up to my mom. The amount of times that I've had to take the blame for something that my brother had clearly done is infinite. I was literally always the one in trouble. Oh, and my brother knows this and has rubbed it in my face since we were kids. He always says that no matter what, my parents are always going to love him more and he can do absolutely no wrong. For example, I paid my entire way through college myself while my parents did everything for my little brother, from paying his moving expenses to his room and board to his tuition. Where was that money when I was going to college? My fiance and I got engaged about a year ago, and we decided that we wanted a really small ceremony and reception, just family and close friends. So we mailed out the invitations, and everyone RSVP'd except my parents and my little brother. The next time I went over to family dinner, without mentioning the day was my wedding, I asked my parents and my brother if they were free on that specific date. And my mom immediately shut it down, saying that that was one of my little brother's football games and that they were going to go to that. I said, whatever, have fun at the game. Listen, they didn't even care when I got engaged, and I fully sent them an invitation that they didn't respond to. I'm not going to sit here and beg for them to want to come to my wedding. That should be something that they want to do and they're excited about. The fact that that date didn't even stick out in their mind as my wedding, but they could remember every single one of the days that my brother was going to have a football game, that spoke volumes. So my wedding day comes, and it was absolutely amazing. No, my parents weren't there. My brother wasn't there. I mean, they didn't acknowledge it because they didn't even know what was happening. But my grandpa walked me down the aisle. My now husband's entire family was there. Our friends were there, and we had the most amazing time. We went to the honeymoon right after and went phone free. Completely turned them off for the entire honeymoon. But when we came back and turned them on, we were flooded with text messages. Obviously, family members had posted photos from the wedding, and one of my aunts had made a post that had a clear dig at my parents for not being there and for always favoriting my brother over me. My mom sent me a million text messages saying how cruel I was, how much I embarrassed their entire family, and how unfair it was for me to not tell them about my wedding. All I said was that I did tell you about my wedding. I sent an invitation. Then I later asked you about the date, and you said you were busy. So you should have known. My brother has been sending me the most nasty text messages saying that I am the worst sister. How dare that I do this and embarrass the family. Like, okay, you're just mad because you lost your little football game, aren't you? But now I have no idea how to approach the situation. Was I wrong for not reminding them again about my wedding? But you shouldn't have to remind your parents that many times. And honestly, if they didn't want to be there and it wasn't a priority, I didn't want them there. I know that the entire time they would have been complaining about how I scheduled my wedding on the same day as one of my brother's football games. Do you know how many football games he has? Oh my gosh. Personally, I think they're getting what they deserve by getting backlash from other members of the family. For years, they treated me like I didn't matter and like I wasn't worth as much as my brother. And now other people are seeing how unfairly I was treated. Sorry, you can't handle it. I am about to break up with my boyfriend because he bought a car tire. And I don't think I'm being dramatic about it at all. It is important to note that there's actually a third person involved in this story. of course. And that is my boyfriend's best female friend, who, let me tell you, somehow cannot seem to do anything for herself, because anytime she faces any minor inconvenience, she calls my boyfriend. A few nights ago, I was sitting on the couch with my boyfriend when he gets a frantic phone call from this girl, and she is devastated, in tears, like hyperventilating. And I am like very concerned. Like, what is wrong? She sounds like something horrible is happening. Turns out that she ran over a nail on the road. And it's not even like she was stranded anywhere. She made it home. She was sitting in her living room just crying about that there was a nail in her tire. Okay, like, yeah, it sucks, but like, not really the end of the world. So my boyfriend, being the hero that he is, rushes over to her rescue. He said it was to see if the tire was salvageable. It's not. There's a nail in the tire. She's gonna have to get a new tire. Like, what are you going there to do for her? He was over there for a very long time. He comes back a few hours later and he's talking about how brave she was being. She's being so brave. So brave. She's being so brave. And that, you know, he figured it out and he took care of it. Thank God. Thank God that my boyfriend was there to help her out. Because not like she's AAA or anything. She does have AAA. She could have called AAA. Something to know about me is that I have a rainy day fund. And anytime I have a little bit extra money or I get money for a gift, I put it into my rainy day fund. And that's literally just like if I want to go on vacation or do something special for myself, I'll dip into my fund. So obviously, you know, this whole situation, it stressed me out a little bit. And I decided that I deserved a massage. So I go to my bedside table and I grab the envelope that is supposed to have my rainy day fund money, except there was no money in there. Nothing. Like, not a single dollar. So I'm digging through my bedside table because there's no way there's a thief among us. There's not a thief in my household, okay? This rainy day fund has been there forever. Like, my friends know I have it, my boyfriend knows I have it, and no one's ever touched it before, so just really weird. Like, it didn't even cross my mind that somebody could have stolen the money just because, you know, maybe I expected the best. Wrong. That was wrong with me. So I rush out to the living room and I'm in tears. I mean, like, obviously, a ton of my money is just gone. And I run out to my boyfriend and I'm like, oh my gosh, have you seen my rainy day fund? And he goes, as a matter of fact, I have seen it. This man looks me dead in the eyes and tells me that he went into my bedside table, took out all of my rainy day fund, and used it to buy his best girlfriend a new car tire. So obviously, like, my first question is, why didn't you ask me if you could borrow the money or take the money or whatever he was planning on doing? And why didn't you tell me? And he was like, well, first, it was just an emergency. Like, she really needed a new tire because she needs her car to get to work and she didn't have the funds to get it. First of all, I see that girl's Instagram. She is out like 4 times a week. So if she doesn't have funds to get a new tire, it's because she doesn't budget. Like, okay, you cannot be going out 4 times a week and then being like, oh, like, I can't afford a new tire. And then he says, you know, you didn't actually need that money anyway. That's why it's a rainy day fund. It just made more sense to me. I thought it was the right thing to do to give it to her since, you know, she could like use that money for something she really needed. So whose money though? Not her money, not your money, my money. My money. It doesn't matter what I was planning on using it for. You can't just go, you stole my money. Now you may be wondering, why didn't my boyfriend just pay for the tire himself? It's because he bought a new Xbox. So he didn't have the income because he used his rainy day fund. I can't. I really need that massage now, but I can't get one. So then obviously I ask, well, when am I going to get paid back? And he looks at me dumbfounded and is like, paid back? What do you mean paid back? Oh my God, that's all you can think about? You are so selfish. I'm selfish? It's my money. It's not even like that girl's nice to me either. She is so rude to me every time she sees me. So it's like, I just don't understand. Like, I'm in the wrong. I'm the bad guy here. You stole my money. I truly never would have guessed that a car tire would be the catalyst to the end of my relationship. But, you know, always expect the unexpected. And even though I kicked him out, don't worry. He has a place to stay because his best girlfriend has been so accommodating of him. Okay, get ready because this update is absolutely insane. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, You can go watch my last video. But in short, my boyfriend stole my money to buy his girl best friend a tire. I was attempting to have a peaceful morning. Attempting. Because at about 8:30 a.m., there is a very aggressive banging on my front door. And I just knew it. I could feel it in my bones what was about to happen. So when I opened my door, I expected to see my boyfriend angrily storm in. But what I did not expect was to see that his little girl best friend was following in right behind him. And they just make themselves at home, walk right in, and just plop themselves down on the couch. Like, I'm sorry, what? No warning. Could have given me like a little heads up, a little call, nothing. And he is just sitting there looking at me, not saying anything. So finally I'm like, okay, so what are you doing here? And he goes, I wanted to give you the opportunity to apologize to both of us. I was like, okay, hold up, rewind the track, because I must be living in some kind of fever dream if you just told me that I should be apologizing to both of you. And I was sitting there looking like the blinking man meme, and he just continued. He was like, the way that you handled this situation, I just thought reflected really poorly on your character, because you should want to help out someone that means so much to me. And I was like, hold up, what do you mean? You stole my money. Like, that's what happened here. It's not like you came to me, was like, hey, can I borrow some money to help her out? Like, you just took the money and then didn't say anything about it until I noticed it was missing. And what was even worse is Girly is sitting on the couch like, like, why are you here? Why? And I actually said that. I was like, okay, also, why are you here? I can't. Anything I think, it just comes right out of my mouth. I was like, what are you doing here? And he was like, don't speak to her like that. Speak to her in my home. I wasn't even being rude. I was just curious, like, why is she here? But also I realized that this was the perfect opportunity to get my questions answered. The biggest one being, where is the rest of my money? Because if you bought her one tire, the math ain't mathing, because there should have been a lot left over. And that's when she pipes in, because he's looking nervous. He doesn't really say anything. And she's like, well, we didn't want all the tires to be worn differently, so it just made sense to buy me a whole new set. I swear, I could literally feel my eyes starting to twitch. I was like, a whole new set? The fact that I kept my cool and did not actually combust into flames whenever I was told this is very impressive. So I literally say, oh, a whole set? Wow. What a generous guy. I'm so lucky, and I feel like I've been so lucky for the time that I've been his girlfriend. And I think that it's unfair for me to continue to take all of his time and take away the opportunity from other women who could have the opportunity to date such an amazing man. So I'm going to let him go for the benefit of others. And he's like, you're kidding, right? And I was like, absolutely not. Get your stuff and get out of my apartment. So he is huffing and puffing while starting to gather his things that were at my apartment. And his little best friend is behind him like, oh, it's okay. She never deserved you. You could do so much better. Blah, blah. I'm like, I'm just sitting on the couch drinking my latte. Good riddance. I hope I never hear from either of you again. But I knew what was coming next. You see, there was just no way that I was going to let this crusty, musty man steal from me. So not only did I go and sell his Xbox, but that actually didn't make up all the money he took. So I went into the closet and saw the brand new pair of Air Jordans that his best girlfriend had got him for his birthday. And I had absolutely no problem taking those and just selling them. So eventually he realized that these things were missing and came to the living room and said, hey, where are my shoes? Where's my Xbox? And I said, I sold them. And his face turned bright red, literally like a fire truck. He's like, you can't do that, screaming. You can't do that. You can't just sell my things. I was like, I'm sorry. I thought there was a rule in this household that we could just take what isn't ours. I didn't realize that. You did it. I'm so sorry. Wow. I just thought we could just take whatever we wanted in here. And he just continues to yell, and his little girlfriend is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you. Like, that was a birthday gift. And I'm just standing there like, and then I tell him, actually, you still owe me like $40, but I'll call it even if you never speak to me again. And he did not like this one either. Continues yelling. Eventually, his little girlfriend's like, let's just go. Like, she's not even worth it. And he's screaming like, this isn't over. This isn't over. And I'm like, babe, this is so over. So as of now, that's where it stands. But if, he does anything else super crazy, I'll let y'all know. I kicked my little sister out of my wedding over a dress, and now I'm the villain of my family. I'm just gonna be straight up about it. My little sister is a wretched troll. And I'm not even being dramatic. She is the most selfish, horrible person I have ever met. One time in college, I had to go to the hospital for appendicitis, and as I'm getting ready to go into surgery, I hear that my little sister had just been admitted to the hospital for chest pains because she thought she was having a heart attack. I later learned this was 100% fake. She admitted that to me. Apparently, she didn't like that I was getting all the attention. I had appendicitis, girl. Like, I don't know what you mean. Honestly, I blame a lot of her bad behavior on my parents because they let her get away with it and they encourage it. I mean, they don't understand why she doesn't have any friends, has never been in a serious long-term relationship. It's like, guys, nobody can put up with her. She's horrible. For example, when I announced to my family that I was engaged, she freaked out, threw a temper tantrum, and stormed out. She said that it was so cruel of me to get engaged before she's even been in a serious relationship. And my parents agreed with her. They said that I could have waited a little bit, to just be a little bit more sensitive to her because I know that that's something that she's insecure about. I'm sorry, but if I postponed being engaged to when she finally got a boyfriend, I would never be able to get married because I cannot imagine a single man that would ever put up with that girl. The drama started when I announced my wedding party and my little sister found out that she was not going to be my maid of honor. Like, first of all, I didn't even want her in my wedding party to begin with, but my mom told me I had to. If I wanted them to contribute any money into my wedding at all, she had to be a bridesmaid. I tried to tell her that she wouldn't want to be my maid of honor because there's just a ton of responsibilities and things that she'd have to do. And shocker, she hates planning anything. But she continued to cry and tell me that it was horrible and that she deserves to be my maid of honor because she's my sister. Finally, I was like, girl, you're lucky you're in my wedding party at all. You are horrible to me all of the time. And I feel like you're going to do something to ruin my wedding, which made her even more upset. It was like, how could you say that to me? You're the worst sister ever. After that dramatic episode died down, the next issue came when it came to her bridesmaid's dress. Now, my idea was that all of my bridesmaids were going to wear light pink, but I really liked the idea of the mismatched dress look, meaning everybody was going to be wearing a long dress, but they could wear different fabrics, different patterns. I just wanted them to all have unique dresses and wear something that they loved and felt comfortable in. So they really had autonomy to pick whatever dress they wanted. It just had to be long and light pink. But of course, my sister had a problem with this, and she said that she wanted to wear a black dress. I was like, this isn't a debate. Like, this isn't a negotiation. You're gonna wear a light pink dress if you want to be in my wedding party. I told her, if you want to wear a black dress, you can. You just won't be standing up with me at my wedding. You can just sit in the audience in your black dress, which, of course, made her start sobbing. Like, what do you want? You can wear a pink dress and be my wedding party. You can wear a black dress and not be my wedding party. Two great options. She said that she was refusing to buy a pink dress, which makes no sense because she wears pink all the time. But that if I wanted her to wear pink, I could buy her dress for her. And she would only wear a designer dress. I did not want to deal with her anymore, so I said, you know what? Fine. She picked out a very expensive dress, and I paid for it. Actually, I ended up cutting into my floral budget, and I couldn't get the flowers that I wanted for the reception. But whatever, I was dealing with the drama. My sister had a pink dress. Everything was going smoothly, and she started to actually stop complaining, which is when I should have got suspicious. So my wedding day comes, and my sister actually arrives on time, which was shocking because she's perpetually late. And she's complaining a lot less than usual getting ready. I mean, she's still complaining a lot, but less than I would expect her to. She has her dress in kind of a garment bag, so I can't see it, but she brought it. Seems like she has everything in order, and I'm starting to feel a lot less stressed. I should have kept my guard up. Never let your guard down if you have a sister like this. When it's time for everyone to change into their dresses, she's kind of hanging back. Everyone else gets changed, and she just says that her dress is a little uncomfortable, so she wants to wait until closer to the ceremony. And this is when I start getting suspicious because I've known this girl her whole life and I know exactly what her game is. So I say, no, put it on right now. I want to see the dress. And we start arguing a little bit. She's like, don't tell me what to do. And I said, it's my wedding day. I can tell you what to do. Okay? I can tell you what to do today. Go put your dress on. So tell me why, when my sister comes back from changing, she is wearing a short black dress. I almost lost it right there. I was like, okay, this joke isn't funny. The joke is, go put your dress on. And she was like, this is my dress. I was like, where's the one I bought for you, that I paid for, that I had to dip into my reception budget for? And she was like, oh, yeah, that, I gave it to my friend. Like, she liked it, and I thought it was ugly. So, you thought it was ugly? You had the option of, like, hundreds and hundreds of light pink dresses. So, and I just look at her, and I say, get out. Now, she's speechless, absolutely speechless. She's like, what are you saying? I'm like, get out, leave. You are not even going to be attending my wedding today. She's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you're doing this to me. You're so mean. You're the worst. And then my mom and my grandma come over and they start being like, it's not that big of a deal, Kels. Like, honestly, I think that it can look good with the pink dress. What, you still really think that I'm gonna let her stand up there after she pulled this? And I'm like, y'all cannot be serious. You guys cannot be condoning this type of behavior. This is why she is the way she is. I didn't ask her to do anything for this wedding. I bought the dress. The least she can do is wear it, and she can't even do that. I don't want her here. She's causing me stress. I want her out. I didn't even want her in this wedding party anyway. Get her out of this venue right now. And my maid of honor is the MVP, because as my family is all yelling at me, my little sister's crying, she just takes my little sister by the arm and leads her right out the door and says, shoo, 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 not today. Then I proceeded to have the most beautiful ceremony of all time. Drama-free, stress-free, no hiccups. It was amazing. Until the reception, when my family confronted me, a whole group of them, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, and said that I needed to call my little sister and apologize and beg her to come join me at the reception. I'm sorry, apologize? Apologize. Apparently, I really hurt her feelings, and she's absolutely distraught. She was texting them during the whole ceremony. Of course she was texting them during the whole ceremony, because, you know, my wedding ceremony was about me. She probably hated that. But I said no. I said, to me, my wedding represented a new chapter of my life, and I'm no longer putting up with her toxic behavior. Just because she's family doesn't mean she needs to be a part of my life if this is how she acts. Obviously, this upsets my mom and my dad. They start crying, and some of my family members even leave my reception to go be with and comfort my little sister. Since the wedding, I have been getting calls and texts nonstop from everyone in my family saying that I needed to take responsibility for my bad behavior and apologize to my little sister because she didn't mean anything by what she did. She knew what she was doing. Like, this is the problem. This is why she acts the way she does, because they truly act like she's 100% in the right. Some members of my family have even suggested that I give my little sister my honeymoon so that she can relax, because this whole situation was so stressful for her. What, the situation she created? Like every situation she creates that, you know, causes issues for everybody. So my whole family thinks I'm in the wrong, but I don't. Neither does my husband or any of my friends. My bridesmaids who saw everything go down think it's absolutely insane that my family could defend her actions at all. I don't know. Maybe I should just apologize and let everything be peaceful in my family, but I cannot keep being a doormat.